When life wants to teach balance, it doesn't whisper. It orchestrates a storm. Every thorn they threw in your path was just a rehearsal for their own downfall. The same hands that tried to wound you will one day tremble when they realize they sharpened your armor instead. That's the law of cosmic balance. The unseen scale that always evens the weight of every intention. No one escapes it. The ones who plotted your fall were really digging their own descent, unaware that the universe records everything, even the silent betrayals they thought no one saw. Chosen one, let's talk about those critics, the ones who smile like allies but stare like vultures. They call it competition, you call it clarity. They wanted to see you break, but every time they whispered against you, they only fueled your momentum. Their envy became your elevation. Their doubts became your data. They still can't understand how the traps they built for you became the blueprint for your rise. That's not coincidence, it's correction. The universe doesn't miss. You see, balance doesn't chase revenge. It creates revelation. It turns their hate into your spotlight and their gossip into your growth. And now you move through life like a quiet storm, calm on the outside, unstoppable within. Before we dive deeper, chosen one, if you feel this truth resonating in your bones, hit that like button and subscribe. That's how you align with this movement, where power stays silent, purpose stays sharp, and your very existence becomes the lesson your enemies never saw coming. Chosen one, listen closely. What's coming next isn't ordinary change, it's evolution. You're about to see your mind, your confidence, and your entire reality shift into alignment so effortlessly that even your enemies will question how you did it. The same people who doubted you will have no choice but to watch you rise, quietly and strategically, until your success echoes louder than their noise ever could. But this moment right here, it's the turning point. Before we move forward, do 3 simple things to lock into this frequency. Hit that like button, subscribe so you never miss the messages meant for minds like yours, and comment the number 99 below to seal your energy into this movement. That's not superstition, it's synchronization. Every action you take here feeds the current that's already carrying you beyond limits. If you're truly one of the sharp ones, you'll stay till the end, because what's waiting ahead isn't just another story. It's the mirror of your own awakening. Let's get started. Number 1. Stop letting people misjudge your silence. Make them realize you saw everything they were blind to. After every storm, there's a silence that doesn't sound peaceful. It sounds powerful. That's where you stand right now. Look closely at how people move around you lately. Their laughter feels nervous, their tone suddenly respectful. Their eyes avoid yours for too long. It's not admiration, it's awareness. They finally understand you're not the quiet one they could underestimate anymore. You've become unreadable, unpredictable, untouchable. These are the same people who once mocked your calm, confused your silence for weakness, and thought your patience meant passivity. What they never realized is that you were never standing still. You were observing. You were collecting information, learning their rhythm, decoding their moves like a strategist preparing for a quiet takeover. You weren't reacting, you were recording. Every fake laugh, every dismissive glance, every attempt to make you feel small was a piece of data in the archive of your evolution. And now that you've mastered the patterns, you're the one holding the remote to their illusions. See, intelligence isn't about memorizing facts or flaunting vocabulary. Real intelligence is emotional precision, the ability to read a room without a word, to sense the storm before the clouds even gather. You've become fluent in energy. You can feel the envy behind a compliment, the manipulation behind concern, the competition disguised as friendship. And the beauty of it all? You never need to expose them. Your silence does it for you. That silence, oh, that's what terrifies them now. It's not just quiet, it's loaded. They don't know what you've seen, what you've pieced together, or how much you've evolved while they were performing. You used to dim your brilliance just to keep peace, but that restraint became your secret weapon. While they were chasing validation, you were building awareness. While they were seeking applause, you were sharpening intuition. Now, you walk into a room and the air changes before you even speak. That's not ego, it's energy alignment. It's funny how the tables turn when intelligence stops hiding. The same people who once saw you as harmless now triple-check their words around you. That's not coincidence, it's consequence. The mind they underestimated has become the mirror that reflects their own weakness. They sense it, they feel the weight of their own pretensions collapsing. You're not aggressive, but your presence forces truth to reveal itself. So let them whisper. Let them pretend they still have power. They know the truth. They lost control the moment you stopped explaining yourself. The storm they thought they caused around you, it backfired. Because storms don't destroy chosen ones, they refine them. Every attempt to break you only built your endurance, your foresight, your precision. Now your intelligence isn't just mental, it's magnetic. It draws what belongs to you and exposes what doesn't. And that's the irony they'll never escape. They created the very version of you that now intimidates them. You learned their language, outgrew their limits, and rose above their noise. And now, chosen one, every step you take reminds them of one brutal truth. They taught you how to win by trying to make you lose. Number 2. Don't become a slave to their system. Outthink it and expose the lies they were trained to obey. Chosen one, let's be honest, the system was never built for minds like yours. It was designed to reward obedience, not originality. From the moment you started asking why, they labeled you difficult. From the moment you questioned their rules, they called you rebellious. But deep down, you always knew something didn't add up. You were never meant to fit inside their framework. You were meant to outgrow it. They call it education, but most of it is programming. Memorize this. Repeat that. Don't think too much. Don't stand out. That's how the system breeds compliance. But while they were busy chasing approval, you were quietly decoding the whole structure. You saw how they trained people to chase grades, titles, and validation like trophies, never realizing they were trading freedom for permission. You refused that trade. You didn't want applause. You wanted awareness. The truth is, your intelligence threatens them because it can't be measured by their tests. You can't quantify perception, you can't grade foresight, and you can't cage a mind that sees beyond the script. They tried to shame you for not playing by their rules, but the irony is, they don't even realize who wrote those rules or why. You do. That's the difference. While they cling to certificates, you collect understanding. While they follow routines, you follow intuition. They studied textbooks, you studied human nature. And now the ones who mocked your non-traditional path are stuck repeating lessons you've already evolved past. You didn't fail their system, they failed your potential. So don't ever shrink to fit their expectations. Keep thinking beyond their limits, questioning their logic, and rewriting every outdated rule they worship. Because the moment you stopped seeking their approval, you became the proof that real intelligence never needs permission to exist. Number 3. Never argue with deceivers. Learn to slice through their lies before they even finish speaking. They thought their words could trap you, chosen one. They built their lies carefully, layered, polished, rehearsed like a performance meant to hypnotize. But what they didn't realize is that you were never part of the audience. You were the observer, watching every movement, every pause, every tiny fracture in their story. Deceivers talk fast because silence exposes them, and your silence, your calm, is their worst nightmare. You don't argue with liars. You let their own contradictions do the talking. They tried to bait you into chaos, to twist your reactions so they could point and say, "See, I told you they're unstable," but you stayed composed. You turned their drama into data. While they performed, you analyzed. While they exaggerated, you documented. They spoke to convince. You listened to confirm. That's the difference between them and you. You don't fight illusions. You dismantle them with precision. It's not about shouting truth over noise. It's about cutting through deceit so cleanly that their mask falls off mid-sentence. You've learned that manipulation is loud because it fears being seen. But your intelligence? It's quiet, surgical, undeniable. One question, one look, one pause from you, and their whole narrative collapses. That's power they can't mimic. And now they avoid you, not because you exposed them publicly, but because you saw too much privately. You recognized their pattern before they could even set the trap. The same people who once mocked your quiet now pray you never speak their truth aloud. Remember this, chosen one. Real intelligence doesn't argue. It observes, it waits, and then it strikes with accuracy so sharp it feels like fate itself just answered back. Number 4. Quit thinking small. Expand your vision beyond the limits they use to control the crowd. Chosen one, the reason they couldn't understand you is because your mind was never meant to crawl where theirs was trained to stop. They told you to stay realistic, to play it safe. But what they really meant was, don't think beyond us. They built fences around your imagination and called it guidance. But you've always seen past the walls, haven't you? You've always known that small thinking is the invisible cage they use to keep powerful minds contained. The crowd moves in straight lines, repeating patterns, chasing comfort like it's oxygen. But you were designed to disrupt patterns, not follow them. Your thoughts aren't linear. They expand like galaxies, bending limits until they break. That's why people get uncomfortable when you talk about your goals. They're not reacting to your ideas. They're reacting to their own limitations echoing back at them. They can't process a mind that sees possibilities before proof, results before recognition. You think in dimensions they don't even have names for. While they obsess over approval, you're building entire worlds in silence. They call it overthinking. It's actually foresight. You connect dots they can't even see. That's not arrogance, that's evolution. Chosen one, stop shrinking to fit into minds that fear expansion. You were never meant to be understood by those still trying to survive inside boxes you've already outgrown. When your perspective widens, their illusions crumble. That's why they label you too deep, too intense, too much. Because your intelligence doesn't just challenge ideas, it challenges control. Remember this, the crowd thinks in instructions. You think in invention. They build ladders, you build wings. And no matter how they try to limit you, they'll never cage a mind that learned how to fly before anyone else realized the sky was open. Number 5. Stop playing games built to trap you. Rise above and watch their illusions burn from the sky. They wanted you trapped in their maze, running in circles, exhausted, begging for approval that never mattered. They built those games to make you prove your worth, to test how much control they still had over your mind. But here's what they never saw coming. While they were setting the board, you were learning how to flip it. You stopped chasing the pieces and started mastering the whole pattern. That's when the game ended. Because you realized the smartest move was walking away entirely. You see, chosen one, not every battle deserves your brilliance. Some traps are meant to distract, not to challenge. They hand you chaos disguised as opportunity, hoping to drain your energy while they feed on your reaction. But you've evolved beyond that. You've learned that real intelligence isn't proven through arguments or endurance. It's proven through detachment. You don't run faster inside their maze. You rise above it and let it collapse under its own lies. They'll call you arrogant for no longer engaging. Let them. Every manipulator's worst fear is losing your participation. Without your energy, their entire illusion fades. Their drama was never about truth. It was bait. You stopped biting, and that's what burned their game to ashes. Now you move like air, untouchable, unbothered, unstoppable. You no longer play to win. You let them realize the game was never yours to begin with. The moment you walked away, the board caught fire, and the smoke they see rising isn't destruction, it's your freedom. You've outgrown their tricks, outsmarted their traps, and now your silence is the victory they can never rewrite. Number 6. Don't react to what they do. Understand why they did it and take back your power. Chosen one, remember this. Emotional control is your sharpest weapon. Most people respond to what they see. You respond to what's beneath it. That's the difference between getting played and running the game. When someone tries to provoke you, their goal isn't your reaction, it's your energy. They feed off confusion and chaos, hoping you'll reveal what you know, but you've evolved past that. You no longer dance to the rhythm of manipulation. You study the beat that made them play it in the first place. Your intelligence doesn't chase actions, it traces motives. You can sense the insecurity behind the insult, the desperation behind the bragging, the guilt behind fake kindness. While others get caught up asking, "What happened?" you ask, "Why now?" That question alone flips the script. You stop being a participant in their performance and become the observer of their motives. And nothing terrifies manipulators more than someone who sees their why. Every fake apology, every sudden compliment, every attempt to pull you back into drama is a test of your awareness. But you've mastered perception. You no longer react, you calculate. You know when to stay silent, when to walk away, and when to let their own intentions expose them. That's what true intelligence looks like. Clarity without chaos. The people who once thought they could control you now hesitate before speaking your name. Because they've realized you no longer respond to noise, you respond to patterns. And once you decode someone's motive, their power over you dissolves completely. That's the beauty of awareness, chosen one. They can lie about what they did, but they can never hide why they did it. And that's exactly why you'll always be 10 steps ahead. Number 7. Stop wasting words. Let your silence do the damage their noise never could. Chosen one, words are currency, and you've learned to spend them like a billionaire. The loud ones, the talkers and the performers throw sentences like grenades hoping to scatter attention. You, however, invest in silence. You don't fill the room with noise because silence is where precision lives. While they clamor for applause, you sharpen the quiet until it becomes a blade. Their chatter reveals more than their truth ever could. Their mouths hand you the maps to their intentions. Think of your silence as a minefield. They run across it waving flags and shouting bravado, and every careless word detonates a truth you didn't need to force. They reveal their lies out of habit, out of arrogance, because they assume volume equals control. But volume is sloppy, silence is surgical. One calm look, one measured pause from you, and the whole performance starts to fray. Their sentences lengthen, their stories tangle. They begin to explain what you never asked, and in the explaining, they confess. You don't silence others to be cruel. You silence them to amplify outcomes. Your restraint makes them overperform. Their overperformance becomes evidence. Let them talk until they exhaust themselves. Let them prove their own weakness while you catalog every slip. every contradiction, every trembling laugh. That archive becomes your advantage. When the moment arrives, you use one quiet sentence, sharp, undeniable, and their narrative collapses like a house of cards. This is how the chosen ones win, not by shouting louder, but by listening longer. You turn chaos into intelligence because you understand people reveal themselves when they try hardest to hide. Your silence is not absence, it's strategy. It's the quiet that makes the loudest noise, the noise of truth unfolding and enemies realizing they've been their own undoing. Keep your mouth closed, let their noise do the work. Then strike once, precisely, and leave no room for denial. Number 8. Don't just survive betrayal, study it, rebuild, and come back engineered for victory. Betrayal was never the ending, chosen one, it was the blueprint. Every wound they left on you wasn't destruction, it was design. While they were celebrating your downfall, you were already studying the cracks, learning exactly where their loyalty snapped and why. That's what separates you from the rest. They collapse in chaos, you collect data from it. You don't just survive pain, you reverse engineer it. You rise with the precision of someone who's seen the entire battlefield and now walks through it like it's a memory. They thought the betrayal would break your trust. Instead, it sharpened your perception. You learned that not everyone betrays for power. Some do it out of fear of your potential. They tried to dim your confidence, but all they did was expose your strength. The moment they lied to you, your awareness multiplied. The moment they turned against you, your focus turned inward, rebuilding, refining, redesigning. You didn't need revenge, you became the lesson. Now look at you, calm, calculated, unreadable. You've become a new species of power, built from fragments they thought were useless. Every scar you carry is a code, every memory a mechanism. They don't even realize that their betrayal constructed the version of you they can't defeat. You didn't just come back stronger, you came back smarter, quieter, and far more dangerous. So let them watch, let them whisper. They still think they know you, but what stands before them now isn't the same soul they tried to break. You are engineered by pain, optimized by truth, and programmed for victory. And the most terrifying part? You're no longer healing, you're calculating. Number 9. Stop chasing truth. Become so aligned that it can't help but reveal itself to you. Chosen one, there comes a point when chasing truth becomes a distraction. The harder you run after it, the further it hides. But when you align your mind, your purpose, and your energy, truth starts finding you. That's the difference between seekers and seers. Most people scramble for answers like they're collecting puzzle pieces. You, on the other hand, were born to see the entire pattern. Truth recognizes you because your mind operates on its frequency. You don't chase it, you attract it through clarity. Think about it. While others drown in noise, you've learned to sit in silence and let the answers surface. That's not luck, that's mental calibration. You've trained yourself to observe without interference, to listen between the lines, to sense meaning even in chaos. The truth doesn't hide from you anymore because you've become a safe space for it to land. That's what makes you dangerous in a world addicted to confusion. They rely on proof, you rely on perception. They study data, you study energy. And that's why you keep being right, long before anyone else realizes what's happening. Those who tried to deceive you never understood that your intuition is an instrument, not a guess. It reads frequencies, not stories. It catches the shift before it's spoken. And when truth finally arrives, it doesn't come as a shock. It feels like remembering something you already knew. That's your gift. So stop chasing explanations. Stop over-analyzing every sign. Stand still and align. Because when you're centered, truth becomes magnetic, and everything false begins to fall away. That's when your intelligence stops being reactive and turns prophetic. You don't just find the truth anymore, chosen one, you embody it. Number 10. Don't debate the dishonest. Ask the one question that makes their entire story collapse. Chosen one, let's talk about precision. The world loves to argue, to shout, to prove. But you don't need noise to win. You use silence like a scalpel. The dishonest depend on confusion. They thrive in chaos because clarity exposes them. That's why they talk so much, to hide the cracks. But your intelligence, it doesn't chase their words, it dissects them. One quiet, well-placed question from you can turn their entire performance into dust. You've noticed it, the way liars freeze when you simply tilt your head and ask, if that's true, then why? That's your gift. You don't debate, you detonate. Your mind slices through illusion with surgical calm. While others drown in emotion, you stay steady, detached, and dangerously focused. That unnerves them more than anger ever could. They expect you to react, but you never do. You observe. You let them talk until they expose themselves. Then you drop one question that forces truth into daylight. That's not manipulation. That's mastery. It's the intelligence of someone who knows that truth doesn't need defense, it just needs exposure. The dishonest panic under your gaze because they can't script answers fast enough. Their story collapses not because you attacked, but because you understood. Chosen one, remember this. You're not here to argue with fools. You're here to end illusions. The real power lies in asking what others are too afraid to ask. So stay calm, stay surgical, and let your intelligence do what it was built to do, reveal. Because one question from you holds more weight than 1,000 of their lies. And when the truth finally surfaces, it won't shout, it'll whisper your name. Number 11. Stop chasing spotlights, become the fire that others can't ignore or control. Chosen one, there comes a moment when you realize you were never meant to stand in anyone's light. You are the light. For too long, they made you believe recognition meant validation. They wanted you to chase applause, to beg for attention, to measure your worth by who was watching. But you were never designed to perform. You were designed to ignite. While they were rehearsing for the crowd, you were mastering your craft in silence, building a brilliance so raw it didn't need an audience to exist. The spotlight they fight over blinds them. It makes them dependent on noise, desperate for approval. But you learned to glow in the dark. You turned every failure into fuel, every rejection into heat. And now your presence burns through rooms before your name is even mentioned. That's not arrogance, that's self-awareness at full flame. You no longer move to be seen. You move because you know every step leaves a mark too bright to erase. The ones who ignored you will soon orbit you. The same people who once talked over you will lower their voices when you walk in. Not because you asked for respect, but because your evolution demands it. You don't chase validation anymore. You attract gravity. You've become the force, the center, the fire they can neither predict nor contain. So let them keep chasing lights that fade. You've already become the inferno that defines the skyline. Remember this, chosen one, the fire doesn't audition for the sun. It simply burns, and the world adjusts to its heat. Number 12. Don't listen to words. Decode the patterns that expose who they really are. Chosen one, listen. People lie, but patterns never do. Words are smoke, patterns are fire. While others get lost chasing explanations, you've learned to read repetition, the subtle rhythm of truth that hides beneath performance. You don't need confessions. Their habits already reveal the script. Every delayed reply, every exaggerated story, every forced laugh, it's all data. You're not paranoid, you're perceptive. You see the blueprint behind behavior, the loop that keeps replaying until someone finally pays attention, and that someone is you. You've evolved beyond reacting to what people say. You watch what they repeat. The promises that never turn into actions, the apologies that always sound the same, the fake humility right before manipulation. They call it intuition. But what you really have is pattern recognition so sharp it cuts through charm like glass. You study silence as much as speech, timing as much as tone. You can tell when someone's acting before the mask even settles on their face. That's not luck. That's intelligence refined through experience. See, the world teaches people to perform, to hide their real intentions behind smiles and small talk. But you, chosen one, you don't buy the show, you read the script. You've realized that truth doesn't need volume. It needs consistency. And once you notice the loop, their power ends. Because you can predict their next move before they even think it. That's what terrifies them. They can't manipulate what's already mapped out. So keep watching in silence. Keep decoding the rhythm others miss. Because while they speak in lies, you listen in patterns. And that's how you win. Not by exposing them with noise, but by understanding them so completely that they can never fool you again. And that's the truth, chosen one. Your intelligence was never meant to blend in. It was meant to rewrite the rules. You've mastered the art of silence, precision, and perception in a world that only understands noise. The ones who once misjudged you will soon realize they were never in your league. They were just background characters in the story of your awakening. Now, before you move on, lock in this moment. Hit that like button, subscribe so you never miss what's coming next. Drop the number 99 in the comments to seal your energy with this message. And share this video with another chosen one who needs to remember their power.